Hi, moms. Real talk right now. Just out of the shower, coming to you with some thoughts that I've been thinking about since yesterday when I talked to my son's principal. So, yesterday I get a phone call from my son's principal, and he tells me that my son was looking at some videos at school on his school computer that are racist in nature. So we've had lots of conversations about racism and words that aren't appropriate. I guess this video had the N word in it, and that's why it was considered a racist video. So the principal brings my son into his office and talks to him, asks him why he was looking at these videos. And he pretty much says his friends told him to do it. And the teacher asked him, well, how can I support you? And my son said, no way, because I am just going to do what my friends tell me to do. So then I get the phone call from the principal explaining all this. That night, I have a conversation with my son and ask him about it. Now, he tells me he's actually not the one that watched it. So he clicked on a video. It used the beginning of the N word, the short version of it, which we've had foster kids in our care who are mixed race. And I, had lots of conversations with them about why it's not appropriate to even use the shortened version of it. And, my son was always there for those conversations as well. So he's been in on these conversations. So he actually knew that video really wasn't the best thing he should be watching at school, but he did it anyways. And his friends then supposedly took his computer and clicked on the same exact video, but it didn't bleep out the second portion of the word. And I guess the N word was actually in the title of the video. So he tells me, well, I told the principal this because I wasn't going to rat out my friends. And, my husband and I pretty much told him, we're not saying you need to rat out your friends. That's not what we're saying. But you should, work with the principal and talk with him about, how to keep this from happening and how you could have kept it from happening in the first place. So, really, what this comes down to, and these are my thoughts on this, no matter how many tools we give our kids, how many times we tell our kids this isn't appropriate, please make good choices, they're not going to always listen. Tools, just because you have a tool doesn't mean you're going to use it, doesn't mean you know how to use it. We can give our kids as many tools as we want. We are going to try and try and try. And just because our kid doesn't actually use that tool at that moment or doesn't use that tool correctly doesn't mean we're doing a bad job as moms or parents. Our kids are going to make poor choices at times. And it's not because we did a bad job, but we need to keep using those choices to help them understand and try to help them, move forward from it in a better way. So I actually have a meeting on Monday with the school, with the principal and my son, and we're going to talk about how to keep this from happening. What supports can the school put in place? What can we do in order to keep this from happening again? The principal pretty much said there's going to be some sort of consequence, but depending on how he reacts and depending on how he talks in that meeting depends on what the consequence will be. So basically, with this, my husband and I had this conversation with my son. If you're willing to have a civilized conversation about it, if you're willing to take responsibility, if you're willing to move forward and work with the school and your parents on how to move forward without this happening again, then your consequence will be a lot smaller. But if you're not willing to do any of those things, you're going to get the maximum consequence. So these are definitely things that we try to teach our kids, and let's hope that Monday he does what's right. But I can't guarantee it because I'm not him, and I'm not a 13-year-old boy. but I give him the tools to try to help him make those right decisions. And regardless if he makes the right decision or not, I am still a good mom. So this has been Real Talk with a real mom. Good luck. We all need it. Stay mom strong.